Okay. I set my things instead of control something. I did alt something. I forgot about that. All right. Um, so this video is a little different from what I usually do. Uh, I found this interesting video. This guy, Shredded Nerd. I've actually watched videos from him before, and I've actually liked them before. Um, well, a video. I think I've watched at least one. It was something about how mustaches were being ruined, or something like that. It was a very entertaining video. It was a very funny video. It was a very fun video. um, well, hopefully this will work. Hey, look at that. Okay, so this video is called Millennial Reviewers. So kind of, I think he has like a millennial series where he you know what? I feel like I've watched something else by him too. I feel like I watched him talk about millennial writers. I watched a few minutes of this video, and I was gonna watch it to the end and make a comment, but then the power went out in my room for some hours, and power came back, and I decided, you know what? Why don't I make a video about it? Why not? I don't know. I don't really remember what this guy was saying in the video, but I figured, yeah, instead of a comment, I'll like talk about it in a video, ramble on. Sing my song. All right, so fair warning, I'm gonna pause a lot and talk. So hopefully this isn't too loud. Wait, I didn't even test this volume or anything. This is kind of just off the cuff.
You know what's crazy? How cringe millennials will...
Okay, I hope that's not too loud. I hope that's not too loud. So I kind of have to like look. I hope my mic is not too loud. I hope the audio is not. Look, if it is, I don't know. Play it on like a shitty microphone, because because then it won't be as bad. Whereas if you play it on a good headset, you're gonna get you're gonna hear all the faults, right? Whereas if you hear it on a shitty like 3.5 millimeter jack, like. Had this plugged in. If you, it's dusty. Like one of these things. This is a great little. I don't know if you can see that. Oh wait, actually, I might have a. I kind of forgot about everything here. Wait, can I? Ooh. Let me do this. Yes? No? Maybe? What the fuck is going on with the camera? What the fuck? Well, that's fucked up. What the fuck? No, that's not. I guess? Well, I don't know. This is a great little device. I know, I'm kind of putting off the video, but that's okay. This is a great little device. I really like this. I use this with my my Sony Walkman. I use this with my MP3 player. I got like an MP3 player where I can put in like a half terabyte micro SD card in it with all my music and videos and stuff. It's got a nice big sound, and it's got, ooh, look, Apple, uh-oh, 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Ooh, scary. Fucking assholes. What am I gonna? Okay, I'll just put this right here, I guess. It's very nice. It's USB rechargeable. I know this isn't about the video. If you're watching up to this point, just like skip ahead because I don't think I'm gonna edit any of this. I know my setup's cooked. I don't care. Let's watch. Squeak. Let's watch this video.
You know what's crazy? How cringe-lennials were living through one of the best eras in video games.
Wait. He's already saying 5 seconds in, and okay, I'm starting to remember the tone of this video.
You know what's crazy?
Is this guy Australian? Sorry, there's a lot of things flash on the screen, and I'm trying to get everything.
How cringe...
Oh, cringe-lennials. It's one of these videos, I guess. Maybe this is what I thought was funny before, but then again, I hadn't watched this guy in a while, so... Millennial doing a food review.
Millennials were
Owned. Lemony.
living through one of the best eras in video games.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I haven't played any of these. I've never played any of these games. Because, I didn't... Oh, I did have an Xbox. I didn't, you know... Didn't really care for it. No, seriously, I've never played any of these games. Including the one that's on screen.
Classic after classic was releasing every other week, and...
You know, again... You're saying this, but... You know, that doesn't make it true.
they were just like, meh, Blur Blow's adventure for the NES was way better.
Okay. Oh, okay, so... This is where this video is headed. It's, I made you the soy boy, therefore I win. Okay. It's one of these fucking guys. Yeah, older games were just objectively better. That's just my opinion. I mean, you don't have to agree with me or anything, you know? When I say older games, I mean, like, stuff that I could get from emulation websites and play them on an emulator on my computer. Yeah, that stuff was, to me, that stuff was objectively better. It felt a lot more rewarding getting a copy of Super Mario Bros. On the NES and playing it through an emulator on my computer than playing, like, I don't know, what's a game? What's an Xbox 360 game I've played? Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. That game fucking sucked dick. Again, it's my opinion.
This stuff is soulless garbage. This video is a little different. In the past, I looked at the...
Yeah, well, let me guess, he's like a Reddit atheist, Soy Jack, you know, he's got the, you know, fucking scraggly beard, right?
The millennial style. This one is about the generation of reviewers, the past generation who shaped the way games are now.
Oh, I watched all these guys, by the way. I still do. Now, okay, actually, I haven't watched AVGN, Nostalgia Critic, Egoraptor, JonTron. I haven't watched... Well, no, actually, that's not true. The first three. I haven't watched the first three in some years, except, like, the occasional video here and there. I haven't watched them regularly in years. That's what I mean. I still love them. I just haven't watched them regularly in years. JonTron, on the other hand, like, almost every time... Like, when he comes out with a new video, I'm usually there to watch it right away. Lots of spaghetti. I I might, miss it and be like, oh, I'll watch it later, and I forget about it, and then I'll have a whole lineup of JonTron videos ready. Well, lineup. He doesn't release videos like every single day, so it's usually like a few lined up, and I always enjoy them. I still enjoy them. Also, he did nothing wrong.
Mr. Nerd, not all of these people are millennials. Yes, that's true. Not everyone I'm going to mention in this review technically belongs to the millennial generation.
Who's this guy? I actually don't know who this guy is. Is this Peter Butter... Peanut? Is this Peta? Is this Peta Butter Gamer? I don't know if I ever watched Peanut Butter Gamer. Maybe he's funny. I don't know. One of you chodes, and I mean that in an endearing term, one of you chodes recommend me a video of his to watch in the comments. If you can, if YouTube still allows that. They won't allow links from other websites, that's for damn sure, but maybe they'll allow links to YouTube videos. Okay, let's continue.
It's really just the easiest way to single out this time period. This
guy's cool. I forgot what his name is. This guy's cool. Eric Chode. I don't. Eric Chode, the Epic Gamer. I don't remember this guy's name, but I remember watching him and a lot back in the day. I remember liking him a lot. Right? I think I'm thinking of the Eric Chode. I don't remember.
Generation. And if you're a millennial, these things all apply to you. You look like this and you say and do all of these things. No exceptions. So, millennial...
Okay, so I'm a zillennial, first of all. That's a term I've heard. I grew up with Bionicles. I'm a zillennial. Fuck, if Bionicles were still made, I would still play with them. I don't give a shit. It's fucking awesome.
Reviewers. Do they affect video games? Well, yes. Of course, the main influence on gaming is revenue.
Well, like, do you think the game market or like because these guys like here you go, AVGN, he certainly made me. I was already interested in retro gaming, but he made me way more interested in retro gaming than I previously was. Like, yeah, he was awesome. He's still awesome. James Rolfe is awesome. In terms of like what the games that are being made, yes and no. Maybe not so much in the AAA department, but more so in the indie department, which is honestly the department that I care more about nowadays. I don't really give a shit about AAA gaming. I didn't really give a shit about AAA gaming all that much before either. You know, I find a game I like, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. You know, I'll play that. And then sometimes, you know, I play it, and most of the time I like it, and every once in a while I find like a Forspoken where I'm like, my tolerance level for this has reached its limit. I can't tolerate this anymore. Maybe I should get back into that game. I did get it for free.
That will always be the main motivation. It is the lifeblood that keeps the industry running. Just like how the food industry is driven by money, or the mining industry is motivated by money. But money is not the sole decision-making factor in the creation.
Okay,
of games. And the deeper you go into the nitty-gritty of game design, you can see what developers say when making game design decisions.
I don't know. Money isn't really a factor in a lot of games that I grew up with. I mean, a lot of games that I did grow up with, obviously, but a lot of games that I didn't grow up with, money was not really a factor. For example, well, Cave Story, for one. It's a platformer game, great game, one of my favorite games. Rocks and Diamonds, a Boulder Dash clone, free open source game. I think it's open source. Don't quote me on that, but it's definitely free. Great game. Enigma, which is I think a clone of a game called Onyx. It's another free and open source game. I grew up with that. Great game. Doom's 1 and 2. Excuse me. Not free and open. Well, certain aspects of them are free and open source now. I think the source code is. What was I gonna say? Free Doom is a free and open source project. That's a good. That's a great game. All great games. All like stuff that wasn't really motivated by money, but just the love of, well, the love of game. Floppy disk.
They look at what is popular, at commercial success.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't pay attention to. I saw Marathon. What's excuse me. What's going on here? Marathon's fucking awesome. I love Marathon. That was another one that Quake 2 is fucking awesome. Two of my favorite games right here. I don't know what Unreal they're talking about, but I love Unreal too. I mean, Unreal as well. And I love Tribes. I've never played Warcraft. I've never played Warcraft. I've never played StarCraft, so I can't speak for those games. I've played Diablo 2. That game's awesome.
Decisions. They look at what is popular, at commercial success. They look at what game testers say. They look at public opinion. And they look at critical opinion. Critical success is a factor in game design decisions.
Is that DSP? Oh, what a lovable scamp. I mean, I always just kind of saw this kind of, like, stuff like AVGN and Nostalgia Critic and Dark Side Phil. I always saw that kind of stuff as kind of like them playing a character, exaggerating as a character, and it was just supposed to be fun. It wasn't supposed to be like, this is the opinion for this game. Like, you know, like, if you hate Rise of the Robot, like, not hate, but like, if like the AVGN made a video about how terrible Rise of the Robots is, I'd be like, you know, I know it's terrible. I know it's a terrible fucking game, but I still love that game. Just I love the aesthetic, and I love I love that game. I love the lore. You know, it's great. We're only a minute into this.
So, with that in mind, how have critical opinions affected the current generation of video games? Well, let's take a look. If you're a gamer, especially one from one of those expensive countries, you probably feel screwed over with the price of games being what they are. The price of anything online, really. But there is another way. That's why I'm sponsored by Surfshark for this video. It's a subscription.
Actually, no. You know what? I'm gonna listen. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna listen to this. What about Surfshark? What about? Oh my god. You know, talking about like millennial stereotypes, and then in comes the Zoomer stereotype of this video was sponsored by. This video is sponsored by. Fucking bitch.
That's why I'm sponsored by Surfshark for this video. It's a subscription VPN with thousands of servers in hundreds of countries around the globe. Now you can buy all the video you want for 100 rupee. When I research for videos, I'm sometimes told that I can't view that in my region. With Surfshark, you can bypass regional blocks and censorship. There's also Surfshark Search, with completely hidden searches that do not retain your data, so you know Diddy isn't spying on all your personal info.
Oh, hey!
So click on my affiliate link below.
Hey, that joke's not old at all.
Visit surfshark.com/shreddednerd to get 4 extra months for free, and make sure you have the correct referral so that Diddy doesn't try to skim some money.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Saying the same joke twice. Hell yeah. That's my boy.
Off the top. And download Surfshark today. It has a 30-day money-back guarantee. And subscribe. It glows. Does the like button also glow? So, to the examples. Remember
awesome.
how often reviews would include some criticism along the lines of, this game was only 6 hours, it was only 8 hours.
Use the single player campaign is criminally short, maybe 8 to 10 hours depending on
Okay, well, I don't like this guy, okay? This, I'm just gonna say that up front. Ben Yahtzee, I thought he was a chode back then, okay? I thought his style of video making was a little too personal. Like, he would personally, always felt like he was personally insulting the guy The camera's over here. He always felt like he was personally insulting the viewer. I didn't really like that. You know, I'm sure. Okay, actually, I didn't like completely hate him. Let me. You know, I just there was a lot of great stuff from Escapist magazine, and he was just like, ugh, yeah, I guess, you know. I don't know if he still does stuff. I don't really care. He always just came off as an asshole, you know. He wasn't fun like the AVGN was or is, or he's not fun like the Nostalgia Critic is, or he's not, you know, like, oh, it's just lighthearted fun. Like, I always thought Ben Yahtzee was just an asshole. So, like, whatever, you know? And also, like, oh, the length of games, but it's like, what's the game? What's the game? If you get like a Final Fantasy game and if you beat it in 4 hours, then it's like, alright, I feel like I got gypped at some point, okay? But, like, if you get, like, you know, there's something in my underwear and I need to get to the end of the level quick, or, you know, like I don't know, like some stupidly titled millennial era game like that, or like some stupid game like Goat Simulator, you know, like, okay, if you play it for like 4 hours, yeah, that sounds about right for a game like that. You play it. Put the mouse over here. Okay, I don't think it matters. You play it for. Sorry. What was I saying? Sorry if this video is all over the place. I just I don't know. I'm kind of tired, but I'm kind of, you know, kind of, you know. Yeah. Goat Simulator. Like you play it for an hour, and the next day you play it for like another hour. And then you repeat this for a couple more times, you know, another time or something like that. And then maybe like over the weekend, you know, like you take a break for a few days, and then you play it for like another hour or something like that, a couple out, you know. You play it like for a handful of sessions, and then you're like, okay, like that was. Personally, I think games like that are fucking retarded. But I mean, like. Actually, I don't know. I've never actually played Goat Simulator. I just always thought it looked retarded. Maybe it's actually the greatest game in the world. I don't know. You know? I think there's like a second one. So, you know, obviously it had people who really liked it. You know, whoa, look at the goat. He's throwing up rainbows. Like, yeah, like, I like silly, but like, that's just... You know, that's kind of like, that's the millennial equivalent of, like, there's a lot of shit in with the Zoomer era, you know, Zoomer era. That was the millennial era version, a version of don't insult my intelligence. I just, in every era of time, there's just something out there where I just say to myself, don't insult my intelligence. This is stupid. I don't want anything. I don't really want anything to do with this, you know. And what was the point I was trying to make? I don't know. I think that's pretty good. What? 4 hours. Again, what was the game?
Choose the single player campaign is criminally short, maybe 8 to 10 hours.
Again, if it was like short like that, I feel like I would be gypped. I feel like if it wasn't, if it was like a sequel and it wasn't at least an equal length, then I feel like I would be gypped. Or if it was a little shorter, I'd be like, well, it was a little shorter, but it was great, you know? If it was like, okay, if it was like a Halo game and the campaign lasted for like 10 hours or something like that, and then the next Halo game, the campaign lasted for like 15 hours, and then, or, you know, like 20 hours, and then the next Halo game, the campaign was like 4 hours, I'd be like, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Something's off here. So I don't know what the... Okay, let me just continue watching.
Depending on difficulty setting and individual ham-handedness.
The criticism was essentially that the game wasn't long enough. It didn't take enough of your time. Now, it's not like there's no value to this critique. Games do make a value proposition. Considering the amount of hours of enjoyment you get for your $60 purchase isn't without...
I go by the spool. If anybody ever watched, out there, ever watched Funhouse... I go by the spool. I go by, what is it? Spool's Law. $1 1 hour. I go by that. It's not the same. That's not always the case for a game. Like if it was like a flash game that you're not meant to play for like an hour, right? Or it's an arcade game where it's like, okay, well it's different for different kinds of games. Like an arcade game, like I put the proverbial quarter in the machine. You know, I play it through an emulator, and then like a game like here's a game I've been playing recently, Trog, okay, through MAME emulator. That game's fucking amazing, okay. Every play I have of that game, I'm like, yeah, if I actually spent a quarter on this play, I would feel like I got my entire every single of the 25 cents worth, okay. Or like a flash game, it's like if I play it for like 5-10 minutes, and then I'm like, yeah, that was fun. That was a nice little you know, stress reliever right there. You know, like I play like Spank the Monkey for 5 minutes. Like there was a flash game way back when called Spank. You know, I play that for like a couple minutes. I'd be like trying to like get like the little mouse cursor hand to like, you know, go as fast as it can against like the inflatable monkey gif, you know, and then it would play Sheik's Good Times if you got like a really fast. Does anybody remember? Did anybody know what game I'm talking about? It was like you hit the monkey as hard as you can, well, as hard as you know, you like try to swing the mouse, you grab the hand and you swing the mouse. I sound like an old person trying to describe this. It would be better if you just look it up. It's funny little game. Every once in a while, I'm like, I want to play Spank the Monkey. That'd be funny, you know. There you go. There's another fart for you. What I was saying was something about Spank the. What was I saying? Spank the Monkey. I lose my place and then I'm like, ugh, you know. Yeah. So anyway, like a game like that, I play it for like about 5 minutes, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was fun. That was worth 5 minutes. I play it, you know. And again, and it's one of those games where it's like every once in a while I'll feel like playing it again, you know. But like I said, it's like if I played a Final Fantasy game and it only lasted 4 hours, I feel like I would be doing something wrong. I'd be like, even like the first one is fucking awesome, by the way. I did like it's like a year ago. I was messing around with like an online randomizer, and I never finished the game, but from what I played of it, it's really awesome. You know, I really like the grinding elements to it. You know, it's one of those classics. I don't know. I'm just not really impressed by style over substance type games. You know, like I think Balatro looks really interesting. I'd like to play that eventually because I really like card game stuff. You know, card games on motorcycles. What was this guy saying now? Something about 4 hours.
Do make a value proposition. Considering the amount of hours of enjoyment you get for your $60 purchase isn't without merit, or more like $70 nowadays, probably $100 in the future. If you pay full price for a 3-hour game with no replayability, you might feel ripped off. But quality and quantity are obviously not...
Again, it depends on what the... I mean, is he saying that right now? I'm just talking over him. Yeah, it depends on what the game is. You know, if I play a 3-hour game and... I don't know, I guess if there was no replayability, it depends on what the game is. If it was short, but it was... And I only play it once... I don't know. I don't really like... there's not really any games out there where it's like, I'm only going to play this once. It's like, yeah, I'll probably play this again, like eventually. I don't know, it's not, it's like movies in that way. It's like every once in a while I get a hankering to watch one of the Back to the Future movies, but like, you know, well, movies it's a little different because there are a lot of movies where it's like I see it once, and unless it's going to be on like TV, I don't know if I want to watch that again. Like there's a lot of movies I want to watch, like every once in a while I want to watch one of the Back to the Future movies. Every once in a while I want to watch one of the RoboCop movies, but you know, then I watch a movie like Babylon, and I'm like, yeah, unless I'm watching like a clip of it that somebody happened to post on like YouTube or whatever, I don't know if I ever want to watch this movie all the way through again. Like, if it was, like, cut up on TV, maybe I'll watch, like, a bit of it. I don't know. I'd have to be in that. I have to be in the mood, I guess. I don't know.
Identical. In the time since such criticism was widespread, what has happened? Well, Assassin's Creed happened, World of Warcraft happened, or continued to happen, Gacha happened, and we realize you can dominate all of your players' time with mindless, repetitive busywork. Collect 1,000 feathers. Collect 200 Funko Pops, and games would often pad out their runtime with boring filler missions that break the pacing. One of the most egregious examples, and one of my favorites, was there's these 2 missions right near the end of Borderlands 2.
Okay, are you sure that's not because of the increased accessibility of various technologies? And so the increased accessibility of technologies leads to the increase in video games being developed for said technologies, which leads to the market becoming more and more flooded with all sorts of games to play. And so the company's thought is, well, once we got somebody hooked, we want to entice them with things that will keep them hooked. I think that's how this model came about. It was something that I think was started by EA, but the cultural technological matching wasn't quite there yet until thereabouts when well, ironically in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, when phones started to become more widespread as a result of smartphones. And so you get all these games being made for them, and it's like, you know, well, shit, we got to keep these customers. We got to keep these customers' attention on our games. You know, what do? Add more you know, it's like isn't Gacha a game, right? Add more characters and they get more moves and you get more cards to build upon the characters. I've never played that game. I don't know how that works, but you know what I mean. I don't think it was because Angry Gamer Joe, I think that was his name. Angry Joe Review. Fuck, I can't remember his name. I liked him though. I like him. Angry Joe. I'm gonna call him Angry Joe Review. Okay. Angry Joe Review. Because he said I know this isn't the case, but like, oh, because one time he said this game was 4 hours, and then that was like and it was like a bunch of guys like him said that, and then it was a giant thunderous cultural shift that happened because of that, and then suddenly, you know, you have Capcom making it so that you can't unlock certain characters, you have to buy them, right? Wasn't that a thing? No, it wasn't because of Angry Gamer Joe. It was because the video game market has become more and more saturated with games because of the increasing ease of technology. Okay, the increasing ease it takes to get something. You know, get a phone, play a game on it. Go on your computer, play a game on it. Go on your laptop, play a game on it. You're gonna print something, play a game on it. You know, you know what I'm saying? It's it's something like that. I think this argument is for 4 minutes, and I've already been talking for. You know what? I don't give a shit. If you're with me so far, that's awesome. Getting a little more comfortable.
That you basically forget and basically just exist
I've never
to pad
played
out the runtime for the
game
right near the end.
I'm starting to say words like him. I haven't played this game before. Haven't played this game before, mate. I don't know why it's like, oh, he's Australian. They all say mate. I don't know why. Buddy. There you go. And now he's Canadian.
And they just break the pacing entirely. We had a massive wave of generic open world games that always slow you down with the most mind-numbing activities. Some games...
Yeah, I mean, that's just par for the course. There's probably a lot of games that were like that in like the in the 2009. Wait. There were probably a lot of games like that before, but we just don't remember them because they had these certain kind of elements like that weren't pleasant.
Have even come to consist largely of the busy work, with very little actual substantial gameplay in between, like Destiny. In retrospect, those games that were basically 8 hours of all killer, no filler were a miracle. There are some shorter indie games out there that show us that games don't have to be so long. They just have to be good, be compelling. Well, it isn't just critics.
Look, it's just the increasing of the better, not the betterment, but the technology. There's more technology to use, so games have become more like movies. The industry gets larger, and then they become more cinematic to draw more people in, I suppose. It's just the way it goes. And this isn't all games. This is just, you have to just go out there and pick and choose. You know, you can play a game like Factorio, where it's nothing but, you know, you're doing stuff, right? I mean, you could play a game like Doom. I mean, that's an old game. What's a new game that, I don't know? You could play a game like Strafe. You know. Anybody remember Strafe? Strafe was awesome. I like Strafe. Yeah.
That caused this phenomenon. I don't think it's a stretch to say that this constant complaining about it contributed to developers trying to pad out their games. Another obvious one, to me, when talking...
Why? What developers are watching the Angry Video Game Nerd and are like, you know, oh my god, this guy is completely serious. We need to... No, like, I watched the Angry Video Game Nerd, I'm like, ha! He punched Bugs Bunny in the nutsack. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not fucking rocket science. I don't know, maybe I'm probably just interpreting it wrong, but it's just coming off weird to me.
Of the snark-lennial generation is the Disney adults of gaming, and that is...
Oh my god, he said a lot of Reddit. Oh, boy. Ah, soy boys! Ah, snark, soy boys! I'm not necessarily, like, disagreeing with this. It's just, I don't know, like, I thought this kind of stuff was funny, like, several years ago, but it's just been, like, run into the ground, like, you know, we are in a culture war against these soy boys. It's like, shut up. You all play video games. Shut the fuck up, you fucking, YouTube.
Talking of the snark-lennial generation is the Disney adults of gaming, and that is the Nintendo...
I don't particularly like Disney adult behavior either, okay? But, like, this guy's just he's coming off as snarky, okay? As, like, the snark-lennial, you know? It's like, shut up, nerd.
Adults. There was an entire Nintendo industrial complex on YouTube back in the day, hyping up Nintendo products endlessly. Imagine this, a guy who just makes top 10...
What the fuck? What? Oh yeah, this is about the part where this is about the part where my, my power went out. A what? A what? A Nintendo industrial complex? Oh my god. I never knew such a thing existed. Forget the military industrial complex. We should have been worried about the Nintendo industrial complex this entire time. Holy shit. That's just so stupid. That's such a stupid thing. I can't believe this fucking YouTube said that phrase out loud. The Nintendo industrial complex. I'm going fucking insane. What the fuck? Just this like this string of, it's like what's that SpongeBob clip where he's like, those words, is it possible to say them in a sentence, you know? Like, I get it, like, oh my god, I've heard all like the gay fuck, no, not gay, homosexual, 4chan, which I'm not knocking 4chan or anything. It's just like, the 4chan stories that were funny and are still funny, but they're just run into the ground by people like this, okay? Just I gotta, because I know that some of them are real, right? But I got a vasectomy, and and then my wife's boyfriend got me a Switch, and it was like the best gift that I ever got. I'm so excited. It's like, shut up, God, this shit's so fucking annoying, I thought this shit was funny in like 2017 or some shit, like when the Switch came out, and like, I look back and I'm like, yeah, fucking soy boy, ha, but I'm just like, yeah, whatever. He's not me. I don't give a shit. Like, this guy is just mauling about imaginary, or sometimes real, but just like imaginary soy boys that are just floating in his head. Like, oh my god, a soy boy, he's coming for me. It's like, God, like, the soy boys are not coming for you, okay? They don't leave their house. They're playing their fucking Switches. I'm not the left-right dichotomy. I'm not even like getting like any sort of politics here. It's just this is coming from somebody who used to think this kind of thing was like hilarious, and I still do. I still think it's hilarious, but it's just, it's being presented in this video essay like it's like the dangerous, serious threat of soy boys. It's like, they're soy boys, okay? Like, you just kind of like roll your eyes at the hyper zealousness of it all, of the hyper zealous consumerism that some of them tend to, that a lot of them tend to exhibit, and then you're just like, yeah, well, I'm not like that. That's a smidge gay, okay? Like, but then, whatever.
Nintendo adults. There was an entire Nintendo industrial complex on YouTube back in...
God, that's so stupid. I don't care if this video is gonna go over like an hour. I don't give a shit. Hey, if you comment that, I don't give a shit. If it's like gonna go over an hour, I'll do this for like 3 fucking hours. I don't give a fucking shit.
The day, hyping up Nintendo products endlessly. Imagine this, a guy who just makes top 10 videos all day, all night, where there's a massive intro between every entry on the list, where he edits in a couple game cutscenes or whatever. In the early days of gaming YouTube, these people were the dominant voices.
So what? It was called YouTube for a reason. It's like harmless, inoffensive fun. Oh my god, it's like the end of civilization. I don't know, like, did you ever try like not watching it if you don't want to?
And they were the voices for all of gaming. They really started review culture on
YouTube. Well, I mean, if you wanted to do something like this, then why don't you start doing it? Like, talk about why talk about like how cool the PS Triple was and shit. Like, like we had like Chad Warden, like, what's up, my niggas? I love the PS Triple. Fuck the Hexbox, dog. Like, but you remember that? Like, I don't know if he said niggas. I don't know.
YouTube. They made an art form out of it, and frankly, some of them were quite good at it. It was downstream from the previous Nintendo review culture. That is, a lot of game journalists and people who write about games were huge Nintendo evangelists, like the Mormons of gaming. One example is Banjo-Kazooie.
Like it was their job. Or like, maybe they just really liked... You could say Banjo-Kazooie. They just really liked Banjo-Kazooie.
Now, it's a fun game. It's a good game, but if you listen to YouTube reviewers for long enough, you would think it was the second 3D platformer game ever made, after Super Mario 64, of course. Banjo was well made, but it was also doing things other games are doing or had done.
This nigga did not just flash Croc in front of my face. He might as well flashed Bubsy 3D. Oh my god. Look, I love Croc, by the way. Can I just preface that by saying I love Croc, but like Banjo-Kazooie, in my opinion, is just an objectively better game, okay? No, I'm not knocking Croc. I'm not knocking Croc 2. I love those games, right? It's just, like, again, if you wanted to make, like, a channel talking about how much you love Croc, there it is. It's YouTube. Go ahead, make your Croc fan videos, you know? Soranova made, like, she loves, I think she, right? Spyro, right? I don't know. I don't know why I mentioned Soranova. I miss Soranova. She was great. I think it's a she. I think. Yes. Yes. Yeah. She was. She made great videos. I miss her like style of. I miss Soranova. I think she made a video like fairly recently, but it wasn't on YouTube. It was like something. Oh, I made this last year, and I decided to post it. I wish she would post again. She was great.
Well made, but it was also doing things other games are doing or had done.
Yeah.
Nintendo is kind of like a bubble.
Yeah, I mean, you can only do so much with 3D platforming on the N64. I don't know, like, this is just kind of like, you're talking about this like you don't understand, like, the hardware limitations of the N64, which I don't think you do. Like, you spend all this time building up your collection of soy jacks to use in internet arguments, but you don't spend any of this time learning about, I don't know, software limitations, how textures had to be really small because the N64 had something in its hardware that could only display like a certain size texture or something like that. All the details escape me right now. My head feels like it's about to explode. Like I'm about to snap into a motherfucking afterlife or something.
Ecosystem and echo chamber. When you're within it, you have a skewed vision of the gaming landscape and tend to view Nintendo products as bigger cultural phenomena.
Okay, that's gay. When I was a little bit here, let's do story time. Is it story time? Story time! Yay! When I was about, I want to say like 8 or 9 or something like that, or 10. I'm starting to, it's like almost 20 years ago at this point. You know, about thereabouts 20 years ago. Can you tell? I remember playing. I had a Game Boy Advance SP. It was, well, I still do. It's somewhere. Indigo blue. Awesome. One of the best things I've ever had. Right. And I would play the shit out of Mario Kart Super Circuit. Took me a second to remember the full title. And I would just play the music. I just like put up to my, ooh, that's a, the fuck happened there? Okay. I would just play my, you know, da 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 da, you know, like that was before I was like a teenager. Like before I was like how old was I? Like 14 or 15 or something like that. A lot of music, not all, but there was a lot of music that I listened to was just like stuff from video games that I just like put up to my, I was like, you know, I might do this ear too. I don't know. I don't remember. Right. You know, and I would just, cause I didn't have one of those like, charger to, headphone jack converters to put like an earbuds or whatever, or headphones, whatever. So I just like played up again, dun, 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 you know, fast forward. Anyway, point I'm trying to make. Fast forward. I don't know, like, a year, you know, or two, and I discover YouTube, and you know, me being a big Nintendo fan, I like, oh, what's like, you know, click on everything that's like, I want to like, is there Nintendo, is there like videos of like, so I would just, I went on YouTube immediately, I like I was like, ooh, I want to like find like old game stuff, you know, like the Nintendo stuff, and then I would like learn about the NES and stuff like that, and the Super Nintendo, and the N64, and like games that I never owned, that I always wanted to own, but I you know, I didn't know about emulation. I don't think I knew about I didn't know about emulation at the time. So I was just like, oh, I look so like I watch like gameplay clips of like one of my earliest YouTube memories is like trying to find like tricks people would do in Mario Kart 64, because that was a game that probably one of the first games I ever played. So I was like, you know, the point I'm trying to make is it wasn't like this you know, I found these videos. It's like, you love Nintendo, you need Nintendo, watch Nintendo, play Nintendo, watch Nintendo, live Nintendo. It wasn't like one of these like, I didn't. I think the way to boil it down is, I didn't watch. Yeah, there you go. I didn't love Nintendo because these videos were just about Nintendo. These videos were just about Nintendo because I love Nintendo. I actively went out and seeked that kind of content, and so did a lot of other people. And this point that this guy is trying to make is fucking stupid. It's fucking dumb. It's dumb. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I don't know why I got in a little bit of a not like my 20th tangent of this video or something like that. What the fuck? Why doesn't it like? There we go. Fucking. What was it? Fuck. Okay. Streaming. Well, I'm not actually streaming this, but you know what I mean. Also, Gruntilda is sexy.
Phenomenons than they
Both versions.
really were. There is an infamous exceed. Nintendo YouTubers would make you think that Banjo-Kazooie was a
Okay, so your source is some dweeb on Twitter. If they haven't dominated gaming, you're fucking retarded. Oh my god. They haven't dominated gaming discourse. It's just people love Nintendo. The end. Alright? If you want to like talk about Xbox, go talk about Xbox. If you want to talk about PlayStation, go talk about PlayStation. If you want to talk about the wonders of trying to figure out what graphics card I need for my computer, for your computer, go fucking, there's a million fucking forums about that, okay? Like, I don't understand this, like, it's like the Sparks song. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. I love that song.
massive phenomenon, but in reality it sold about as much as Croc.
Alright, then go fucking make a YouTube channel all about Croc the Legend of the Gobos, okay? Whatever. Like, I'd probably watch it. Why not? Like, quit being a fucking spaz about it, and then just go fucking do it. Go make it. Quit wasting your fucking life on Twitter, you fucking chode.
It is said that the banjo cuck kneels before the croc chat.
Okay, yeah, that's very gay. Thank you for that.
GoldenEye 64 is a similar case. It didn't really achieve things that other games of the time didn't have. Non-linear objective systems? Other games did that too. Quake 2 came out around the same time. In fact, other first-person games had much deeper systems well before it came out. Not to mention that it doesn't hold up as much as other shooters from the time.
Hey, you know what the N64 did that PC what not PC. You know what the N64 did that computers didn't? N64 didn't give 4-year-olds fucking headaches. Okay? I happened to play both an N64 and a PC when I was like 4 years old because my dad bought me and my sister an N64 for Christmas. All right? That was for, like, you know, that was like you plug in all the things and then bing, bang, boom, there you go, it's set up. That was like less than 5 minutes. You know, like 5-10 minutes, like take it out of the box, you know, set it up, whatever. Put the game in, put the controllers in, you know, take everything out of the boxes. You know, with a PC, it's like, all right, what kind of PC do I want? You know, and then and then it goes on from there. You know, what's the motherboard? Ooh, I get this graphics card. Oh, I can't get that with this motherboard. All right, back to square one. You know, you know what I'm saying? Time to install Windows, or you can get a pre-built thing. I don't know. But then that's a bunch of setup too, right? It wasn't. This is the whole argument. I get why, you know. I'm saying this as I'm a big PC gamer fan, not fan. User. Okay, obviously, I'm obviously a big PC gamer user, but I'm also a big console gamer user. I hear this argument. It's like, why don't you just get a PC? It's just superior. It's like, well, because there are a lot of people who just don't want the headache of dealing with a PC. Okay, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it goes. You know, this whole argument where it's like, oh, well, what does this do that the PC doesn't do? Again, I'll say it again. It doesn't, the N64 doesn't give little kids fucking headaches on how to set it up. The little kid is like, he doesn't know what a fucking graphics card is, you know? Or what if the little kid doesn't have, like, what if this little kid, you know, didn't have, was like me, who... You know, I have a dad who I talk about this stuff with, like, I mean, he got me into the fucking all this shit in the first place, all this all the PC stuff, right? You know, but what about a kid who doesn't have like somebody like that who can tell them about all this this computer stuff, okay? Like, I don't know, like, or what about, like, what if you're a dad who's not even tech savvy? Believe it or not, that's actually a lot of dads aren't tech savvy, you know? There are a lot of dads who are, and there are a lot who aren't. We're just like, hey, this looks like something little Jimmy will enjoy, you know? And then you buy it, and he enjoys it, and then you're like, I'll play it with him. And then you buy a game. If you're a good dad, you'll buy a game that you could play together, and you'll be like, you know, like my dad did, you know, or has, you know? Be like, all right, you know, that's awesome, you know, buying a system for little Jimmy, and then buying games that little Jimmy can enjoy, but buying games that little Jimmy and his dad and his mom and his sister can enjoy as well. That's freaking awesome, you know. You don't think about it like on the consumer level. You think about it on the I make fun of Reddit all the time, but my life is nothing but Reddit jokes kind of guy. Okay.
Mostly due to the control scheme, which was one of the obvious downsides of the system. The fucked up controller that they forced developers and gamers to deal with. It sucks. There's no it had so.
No, it doesn't. I actually like the N64 controller. I like the way you can hold it like this, you know, or this, you know, or this. Or like this. Here, let me do that again. Like this. Can you see that? Okay. Yeah. It fucking sucks, bro. This video fucking sucks.
Oh, no, it was just nonsensical and shit. You can meme it all you want, but there will never be some ironic reassessment of this. It was silly. And it was a silly restriction that every developer who worked on the system had to work around. These man-children would also make a bold claim often.
That's stupid. And then he destroys his enemies with facts and logic by calling them man-children. Right, but hypothetically, if I called this guy a fucking loser faggot, YouTube would have a problem with that. But no, I'm not calling him a loser faggot.
The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is the best game of all time, and it's still upheld at this level by a lot of critics. Now, of course, any product that's held to this level before you go into it as a consumer is probably not going to live up to that title. It probably won't meet that expectation. And I went into Zelda aware of the cultural influence it held. All these Nintendo YouTubers held it up as the holy grail. And yeah, it's definitely not the greatest game of all time. Also, that is just my opinion. But like all the others, it is still very good.
Okay, well, why are you basing your opinion on what other people say? You know, why are you, oh, well, this reviewer said that the game that I like sucks, so therefore it must suck then, because this guy has 100K views, subscribers, and I don't even have 100 subscribers, you know? Why are you, who gives a shit, you know? Like, if I watched a video of, like, some game reviewer saying that a game sucked and it had no redemptions and I love that game, I'd be like, alright. My response? Whatever. Fuck you, asshole. I still like this game. Bitch. How hard is that? How hard is that, like, being like, you know, go stick it where the sun don't shine? How about that, you fucking nerd? Like, why do you have to be like, you know, I bet you do the same exact fucking thing with music, don't you? Where you're like, a bunch of people were saying this album is the best, and I don't think it's the best. I think it's Redditor what's the word? Chuds? I think it's Redditor chuds. Just overhyping an overhyped album, 'cause it's overhyped. But hey, that's just my opinion. Fucking nerd. I don't give a shit what you think. Fucking loser. Hey, I'm not saying the YouTube word, okay?
Also, that is just my opinion. But like all the others, it is still very good. It's still very well made, and this game was certainly influential on adventure games. The lock-on, the auto-jump, the simple, intuitive...
I know he's not talking about his opinion, but hey, opinions are like... By the way, CGR Undertow, I love that channel. Opinions are like assholes, everyone's got them. Including myself, by the way.
Puzzle designs, all the dungeons are so varied. You fight all these creatures that look like they crawled out of Asmongold's room. But as for it being like the greatest ever...
Well, guys, look at this Epic Gamer 4chan image that I have on my computer. Aren't I a cool Epic Gamer?
I actually just don't get it. Maybe you had to be there. You had to be a child growing up with this. It still doesn't make sense to me. Maybe because it's so simple and intuitive, so polished for the time. Similar appeal to, say, Portal. It's kind of why Paradox Games or Factorio...
I don't know. I don't know. Like, if you live your entire life basing your tastes around what, like, game reviewers on YouTube hype up, then like I don't know what to tell you, man. Like that's dumb. Form your own fucking opinions.
It could never be hailed as the greatest games of all time, even though they are the greatest for some people. Having too much complexity automatically filters out enough of the audience. Action RPGs and adventure games were able to effectively hint at some of the depth that exists in RPGs without overloading.
Oh boy, words. Yap. I hope 10 years from now, whatever, the generation that's the little kids that are growing up, they find somebody makes a video essay parody video and they talk about how like shit like this is fucking garbage. Because it's just what happens with every generation. Every new generation thinks the old generation's fucking lame. Or whatever. I don't know. And I think that's a whole other thing. I don't want to go into like a upteen tangent about fucking generations. I think generations are fucking stupid. Shouldn't base history on generations of people. I feel like that's a fairly recent concept from the past like 100 or so years. Generations, this generation, that generation. History is defined. Excuse me. It should be defined by individuals, not generations.
The normie brain with too much information. Perhaps that's why Skyrim is also so popular. So I would say the Nintendo.
Sorry, I wasn't like this guy. His droll monotone voice has put me the fuck to sleep.
Be hailed as the greatest games of all time, even though
further back. I'm sorry. I don't know. Fuck.
You just don't get it. Maybe you had to be there. You had to be a child growing up with this. It still doesn't make sense to me. Maybe because it's so simple and intuitive, so polished for the time. Similar appeal to, say, Portal. It's kind of why Paradox games or Factorio could never be hailed as the greatest games of all time, even though they are the greatest for some people. Having too much complexity automatically filters out enough of the audience. Action RPGs and adventure games were able to effectively hint at some of the depth that exists in RPGs without overloading the normie brain with too much information. Perhaps that's why Skyrim.
You're overloading my normie brain with too much information. I guess I think what he's trying to say is like these games simplified more complex themes from other games at the time, which is why they're so beloved. I guess. I don't know. Look, I've never actually played Ocarina of Time, but like I look at it and I'm like, yeah, this looks like a well-built game, Doesn't need to be like complex or anything. I mean, is that maybe did he say that? I'm losing. Guys, I'm losing. I don't know if you know this, but I've been losing my mind. I've lost control of my mind.
Is also so popular. So I would say the Nintendo bonus when it comes to reviews is absolutely real. And converse to the Nintendo 64 praise was,
I don't know, maybe it's because it was the most accessible. That's, I think let me explain. This is probably more the reason. The millennial praise for the N64 because the people who were like youngish, whatever, like the people who were kids when they got an N64 when they were a kid, and then now they're a little older and they're like, yeah, that was a great game. I remember the nostalgia I had for that. I have nostalgia for that game. It's such an awesome game, and I see shit cube, by the way. I'm trying to focus on this. It's going on too long. It's 26 minutes, Jesus Christ.
Real. And converse to the Nintendo 64 praise was the GameCube hate. Both the GameCube and the Nintendo 64 undersold. The GameCube had obviously a much better controller.
No, okay, let's see. The N64 love is because the N64 was taking beloved Nintendo licenses and putting them into 3D for the first time. 3D was a big deal. 3D was a fucking huge deal at the time, right? It wasn't like Croc, where it's like, oh, fucking dinosaur, cool. It was like, holy shit, Mario in 3D? That was the reason. That was the reason. And then the GameCube was like, guys, it's like that, but it looks better. And they were just kind of like, yeah, but like the PS2 is a better controller. And it was just marketed better, I think, you know? I don't know. I love N64 and GameCube, and I love the GameCube too. So was there a GameCube? Like, was there N64 praise and GameCube hate? I don't know. Maybe it's just like these certain circles that this guy is, certain things that this guy researched.
Which, to be fair, isn't hard. It also had a good library of exclusives. Maybe it was a bit disappointing as a follow-up, maybe it wasn't as good as its competition, but it will forever be known as the Nintendo Shitcube. Well, at least every...
No, it was just a different... I guess it was just a different generation. It was just like... yeah, I remember. It was like, I love playing games on the Wii, and, I got in an argument with a kid who was like, that's... I don't have a Wii, that's fucking gay. Like, he was like, we were also 12. I'm like, and I was like, oh, it's not gay. You're fucking gay for thinking that, fucking homo, fucking hoey moey, or some shit like that. And eventually I think we came to a mutual respect for each other's preferred consoles. And this is part of the whole console wars thing. It was just the console wars was because like the internet was burgeoning and it was becoming easier to access to more prepubescents, and it was like, this console's better, no, this console's better, no, this one's better. It was just whatever. It's
GameCube that got sold
this is the Nintendo shit cube.
actually got played. Every single family
This dude looks like a fucking Quake 2 enemy.
Earth bought a Wii.
He looks like a fucking Strog.
And that Wii is now...
Yeah, somebody should make a mod of that. Quake 2, like, the Nintendo shit cube, like who's the big guy, the Berserker, instead of Trespasser, he says, because it's a piece of shit! I don't know.
To collect dust on the drawers under the TV. And it's interesting how the...
Well, I mean, for some people, yeah, sure. Again, it's subjective.
GameCube was singled out as the console for kids, as if the Nintendo 64 and the Wii weren't for little children. Like, just look at the...
Was it? I don't know. My dad actually got a game that that he thought I would be interested in, Metroid Prime. And I was like, I was like, I like it. I'm really bad at this. And then it got to a point where it's like my dad was way more interested in Metroid Prime than I was, but he got stuck, unfortunately, and he never. I think he got like stuck. I'm sure if I played it now, I'd be, I would probably play it and have fun with it, and probably do it, with a little bit more ease, because I'm a little more familiar with FPS games than I was when I was like 7. And then my dad would probably watch me now, and he'd be like, "Oh, that's how you do it, okay," because he loves FPS games, obviously. But I mean, did I say that already? Yeah. He's the reason. He's probably the biggest reason why I got into FPS games. But he by his own admission, he's like, "Oh, I'm not that good at them." So.
This is the most a game console has ever
Which is funny, because he's the one who got me into like Quake 2 and all that, so...
like a toy. Jak 2 is an interesting touchstone.
I'm not gonna comment on everything. Look, if I missed like things that he was saying, just like comment or whatever, I don't give a shit.
For critics. The previous game was a solid platform.
Oh yeah, Jak 1 was awesome. Jak 2 was awesome.
With a very...
I never played Jak 3. And I never played, the racing game either. So there you go. There's my history of Jak and Daxter.
Child-friendly atmosphere, like Diddy's Mansion. The sequel was a complete tonal departure.
Hey, Diddy joke number 3.
dark, edgy sci-fi. They made the formerly silent protagonist vocal, and they gave him the vocals of a Linkin Park album, and many critics panned it. A few praised it. Some were...
That's not... Wasn't like the plot, the end of Jak and Daxter, like he gets kidnapped by he gets kidnapped and experimented on. Isn't that like so in a way Jak is kind of like Shadow, you know, like the way he talk, the reason why he talks like the, you know, I know people, and I do too. I make fun of like, you know, Shadow, like, oh, dark, edgy, but like Shadow got kidnapped and experimented on, right? The same with Jak. Jak got kidnapped and experimented on. At the end of Jak and Daxter, he gets kidnapped by the bad guys. And then there was a spin-off game on the PSP that I played. It was just called Daxter. It was like what was Daxter doing? Oh, he was trying to save Jak, you know. That's an awesome game too. Daxter on the PSP. And then Jak 2 was like, hey, buddy, I saved you. And then he's like, yeah, I guess you did. And then he's like, he's a little fucked up because, you know, he had fucking elf Nazis experiment on him and shit like that, you know? So, like, it's like, oh, he's edgy. It's like, yeah, he got experimented on. That's edgy like a Linkin Park album. What? I don't know. It was kind of like Bionicle, in which it kind of dealt. It was like a thing that was for kids, but it's for like preteens more. You know, it was kind of like, you know, yeah, cool kids game, but there's some like couple dark elements in here that might not be safe for kids, for like 6-year-olds. Even though I was like 7 when I played that game or something like that. I play it with my sister. Jak 2, I mean.
Different. It was a strange choice indeed, but to be honest, it wasn't that crazy. It honestly worked. It was inspired by other games of the time, the Volga Wave and Limp Bizkit. Other games like Need for Speed did a similar thing. The games that it was inspired by include things like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, there was just like certain themes of the time. It was like in the 2010s where it's like, we gotta have a dubstep track at this point. And then, what was it? Then Minecraft did that. They were like, we gotta have the pigs dance the dubstep because kids still love dubstep, right? In 2019.
Previous Jak and Daxter had this kind of interconnected map structure, a bit like Banjo-Kazooie or something. It was actually kind of...
Or actually, you know, PS2 games, so it was more like Ratchet and Clank.
Innovative. No loading screens to interrupt your movement, but then
well, you know, all based on, like, you know, probably stuff like Banjo-Kazooie, you know.
Jak 2 pivoted to an open world style. And to be honest, it is remembered fondly, and for good reason. It actually was a fantastic game, honestly. And no, it wasn't too edgy. This is one of those rare cases where developers correctly read the room and pivoted away from bright Scrimblow-Bimblow-likes into a new direction and pulled it off. The writing was witty and...
Yeah, it's funny. Scrimblow-Blimblow. Did you come up with that on your own?
And the characters were good. The plot was engaging, and to be honest...
Did you steal that from Vinesauce? Sounds like something he would come up with. Except when he says it, it's funny, so...
It still had plenty of light-hearted moments. It actually worked quite well, having characters like Daxter juxtaposed with the grim environments. Goofy characters in a goofy world are just kind of wasted, they don't really stand out. This new direction added more contrast, and it added some more depth even. Another big criticism that the game received was for the abundance of timed missions.
Really? It was criticized? Okay, I guess. It was probably from, like, you know, chodes writing for game magazines who were like, you know, oh, I'm sick of all this fucking new metal shit. You know, these fucking old farts who were like, this ain't real metal. You know, all those, like, you know, go listen to Motorhead or some, you know what I'm saying? Like those kinds of guys. You know, I like both Korn and Motorhead, so again, this doesn't work on me. It's just like, hey, I like it no matter what. That doesn't make me a consumerist. That just makes me understanding of where a lot of artists' headspaces are. Like I've said, you know, I generally hate like Vivzy pop stuff, right? But like, there's a couple moments here and there. I'm like, hey, you know what? This Snake character, he's kind of funny. I've seen like a clip or two of him, and I'm like, he seems like the only relatable character in this Has Been Hotel show. There you go.
You often had to redo missions.
I've actually haven't watched that show all the way through yet. I might do a reaction to it eventually. Although I might not do it like this way because, you know, copyright.
Several times due to the strict time limitation, and you had to redo them over and over, and it was challenging. Like, you'd have to escort somebody to a location within like 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure. It was a little it was quite frustrating sometimes, but I mean, it was pretty rewarding in the end.
Many of them made use of these hover bikes that you could find everywhere that people were driving around, and you know, this game was known for its difficulty, which is funny because
yeah.
I beat it as
I didn't have I never played Grand Theft Auto ever, but you know, this is awesome.
a kid, and I just thought this is
this I like. You know, this is fucking rad. Kids still say rad, right? Whatever. This is rad. There's another fart. Well, I wonder if somebody has like a fart counter.
It was only after growing up that I found out it was meant to be a very difficult game, apparently. And that's not to gas myself up as some kind of pro, I just like to be challenged. And I didn't mind repeating the same mission.
I don't know, I thought it was actually kind of hard. I'm not sure, did I ever beat this game? It's been such a long time, Jesus Christ. I think I need to play this game again. Thank you, Shredded Nerd, for making me want to play Jak 2 again. Awesome.
When I failed. That just means I wasn't good enough. In my eyes, that was just about as hard as a game should be. But I learned much later that people hated the timed missions. I thought they were great. It adds an extra intensity to games. It sets a skill.
I don't remember this at all, by the way. I don't remember the time missions. I'm some of them probably were hard, but a lot of them were easy. I think it was a mix. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. It's been such a long time since I played this game.
Floor to be able to beat the games and really tested your abilities. It didn't feel cheap to me. The plot had a reason for them to exist. They were often communicated in advance, and the times were never that
No,
long.
I get it. It had a good flow. I get the idea. I mean, I know he's explaining it in his monotone, dulcet tone, zoomer tone, but whatever. Like, I get it.
You had to make it somewhere within 2 minutes, which really isn't that long. Like, you can repeat that, it's fine.
Weapons.
You can't just dilly-dally around. You need to be focused and engaged.
Awesome.
And this is a generalized issue as well. Dead Rising was built around this mechanic where...
Wait, what was it? This is a... It's fucking awesome game. What do you say about Jak 3? I didn't catch that.
Around, you need to be focused and engaged. And this is a generalized issue as well. Dead Rising was built around...
Oh, he's just showing Jak 3. Okay, like a trail, whatever, okay.
This mechanic where there is a clock constantly ticking down, and each side quest had time limits attached to it. It added pressure to the game, and again pushed you to engage with it because you had to be efficient.
I don't know, this was like Pikmin, whereas like, oh, you can only be on this planet for a certain amount of time, and you can only be on this planet for a certain amount of days. Yeah. There were a lot of games that had stuff like that. I never play. I've never. What is this? I don't even know what this is. I've never played this.
You had to make choices all the time, which
cool,
is
though.
engaging. Because with each choice, you spent your limited amount of time that you have.
I didn't hear what he said. I'm trying to get through this because this video is kind of getting long. So
I'm honestly shocked more games haven't played around with this feature because it created a really intense and rewarding gameplay loop. There are other games that have a system like this, just hidden behind abstraction, like XCOM, where time is always moving forward and the crises just keep getting worse with time, and you have to manage them, and you have to choose which missions to pursue because you can't do all of them. Time is a resource, and it's basically just like any other resource management in a game. Pushes you to make decisions. See, adding this other level of decision making makes the game more engaging, but critics hated it because they have to think too much. Apparently it's a massive faux pas. With Dead Rising, they actually responded to the noise and removed the time limitation altogether in one of the sequels, and it just ruined the game. Time limits. That's something you don't see as much anymore. Half-Life is another big one for critics.
Okay, I will, Super Mario Odyssey removed time limits, and I think it makes the game far less interesting. It's like, why do I have to be in a rush? It made the game boring. probably the first Mario game I've ever played. First Nintendo Mario game I've probably played where I've been like, this game's, it's not the worst game ever. It's just kind of boring. I didn't actually finish Super Mario. Did I say Odyssey? I didn't mean Odyssey. I meant Wonder. I'm sorry. Not Odyssey. No, Odyssey was fucking awesome. Wonder. I meant to say Wonder. There you go. I corrected myself. What is he talking about with Half-Life? Ooh, ATI. I got that in an old computer. ATI graphics card, I think. Yeah.
The time limitation.
Or is that the one that killed one of my dad's computers? I don't remember. The graphics card with the robot lady with the big boobies. I mean, yeah, nice tits, but you killed my fucking computer.
all together in one of the sequels, and it just ruined the game. Time limits. That's something you don't see as much anymore.
No, I mean, you could just, if the time limit isn't in the game, you could just add the time limit yourself. You know, sure, like, that sucked and, you know, like, why not, like, a game like Super Mario Wonder, why just, literally every single fucking other Mario game is a time limit. That's one of the things that makes the game so great. Why don't you just do that? This isn't Super Mario 60. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's combining things from other Mario games that just don't make any sense. It's combining, like, the 3D Mario game element of, you know, take your time, you know, it's a lot more challenging to roam around in this 3D world as opposed to this 2D world, right? Whereas in the 2D version, it's like, all right, go left to right, but it's timed, you know? And that's... whatever. I don't want to go on forever about Wonder. Maybe I'd like to give that game another shot. It's not terrible. It's just not like amazing. It's kind of, it's okay. I guess it's some things are okay. Some things are kind of terrible about it. It was just kind of whatever. It was kind of all right. I guess the music was cool. You know, it's not the best Mario game. It was just kind of okay. I guess. Yeah. It's okay-ish.
See as much anymore. Half-Life is another big one for critics. Many claimed Half-Life 2 was the greatest game of all time. Like with all the other examples, it's a good game, but it was gassed up to mythological status by Millennial Reviewers. Half-Life has some of the most...
Oh, the Millennial Reviewers. No, I actually fucking love this game. And it wasn't like because of Millennial Reviewers. It was because I played the game and it was fucking awesome. It was like, whoa, a first-person shooter with, like, an actual story and not, like, something you read in the manual. Like, you know, Doom guy got sent to Mars because he was being an asshole to his superior or some shit like that. I don't know. The story's cool, but it was kind of... I think it was kind of an afterthought, you know? It was just, like, one of those, like, if you have the manual, you know the real story of James McTaggart or whatever his real name is. Doom guy. Big head man. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, Half-Life's fucking awesome. This wasn't like a... Yeah, I saw reviewers gas it up, but, like, it wasn't unwarranted. It's an amazing game. What the fuck are you talking about, nerd?
Pretentious fans of all time. They hype it up as though it was some sophisticated masterpiece.
Yeah, it was.
Shooters, but for intelligent people.
All right,
to be fair, you have to...
Yeah, you know what? You know what you are? You're one of those guys who's like, here you go, another SpongeBob reference. Here you go. Because SpongeBob's relatable. That's why. Where Patrick's got, like, the t-shirt, you know, with, like, the Halo logo, and he's like, that's just what I expected you to say, SpongeBob. You know, what was the line? Don't, I can't remember what the line he says. Dumb people just don't realize how dumb they really are. And then he's did the draw. I forgot what the line is, but it's just kind of like making fun of, like, this self-important nonsense that this guy huffs. This kind of like these self-important people, like the guy in this video.
sophisticated masterpiece. Shooters, but for intelligent people. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up with that old fucking meme that wasn't even that funny in the first place, you fucking faggot! Alright. I'm taking a break. I gotta pee. And, I'm not cutting this out because, fuck you. That's why. Did you miss me? I know you would. What's this guy? What's this? Right? Is stale Rick and Morty, whatever.
People. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand Half-Life. Without a solid grasp on theoretical physics, the game will just go over your head. Oh, and it never breaks first-person perspective. But you know what it does? It makes a great argument for doing so by forcing you into these unskippable, basically cutscenes, where you just jump around the room and not do anything. Maybe the first time you're listening to the story, but what if you want to replay the game? Suddenly you're forced to go through like an hour's worth of cutscenes before you can even play it. What about these monster closets?
That's... Who has ever said that? Whoever makes that argument. That's... That's such a stupid argument. Oh no! I have to watch this cutscene that I want to watch again. Oh no. What am I gonna do? I want to play Half-Life. I want to get to the fun shooting parts, and I have to watch a cutscene again, and it won't let me skip it, and I think it's fucking bullshit. GameSpy lied to me. This is the best game of all time. It's the worst game of all time. Shut up, faggot. God, this guy fucking sucks my big fat cock.
It's with enemies that waddle out of it one by one in a row. It's just so damn intellectual, like it's so sophisticated. I don't think I'm smart enough to get this. I'm just a console player.
Yeah.
Apparently
somebody pissed them off. This guy's a fucking retard. What was his complaint about the fucking? I'm sorry. What was his complaint about shooting the what?
Listening to the story, but what if you want to replay the game? Suddenly you're forced to go through like an hour's worth of cutscenes before you can even play it.
Why is Half-Life 2 a bad sequel? Who the fuck are you? Like, what video is he sourcing? Whatever video this is sourced from, the guy who made the video that he's sourcing from, why don't you, like, go fuck yourself? Why don't you shove it up your fucking ugly asshole?
What about these monster closets with enemies that waddle out of it one by one in a row? It's just so damn intellectual.
What do you mean? It's like, that's just like, how else are they supposed to come out of the closet? Whatever.
It's so sophisticated. I don't think I'm smart enough to get this. I'm just a console player.
Shut up, you go on Reddit too much, fag.
Enemy AI actually was quite intelligent and well designed, but you couldn't tell with how the levels were designed. Unsatisfying levels, pretty basic puzzles, poor vehicle physics.
What? It was a new engine. Okay, wait, unsatisfying levels. It's, you're getting out of a fucking city. Like a derelict city. Wait, he says a bunch of things here. I'm sorry. He's saying a bunch. Suddenly he's like ramping up, you know, bro was yapping, but now he's like actually saying stuff that I need to pay attention to.
How the levels were designed. Unsatisfying levels. Pretty...
What? Unsatisfying levels. That's... Yeah, again, you were getting out of a fucking city away from society to fight a corporate... Like, the level design made sense.
Basic puzzles.
Oh no, the puzzles are basic. You know? Oh, my god. Why can't they do something complex with this brand new engine that they just made? Ugh! Makes me so mad! You know?
Poor vehicle physics.
I mean, that one I guess I can kind of see, but, like, again, it's a new engine. And I think actually, you know what? No, I don't see that one at all. I might have thought that at first. I was like, dude, what's with this vehicle? But then as I started playing, I'm like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Even this kind of makes sense. You know, it's not even my favorite game. It's just like, these criticisms are dumb. You're dumb.
Like with Ocarina of Time, it does a lot of things which are individually...
Yeah, like with Ocarina of Time, you're basing your personal taste in games on what other people on the internet say. You can't just make decisions on your own and be like, hey, you know what? Fuck y'all niggas. I love Centipede 1998. You know? Like, you just... I don't know. This is retarded.
Done better by other games. There were good shooters before, at the same time, and after the release of Half-Life. Singling Half-Life out specifically as the model, as the only way...
You know, it was done better before, you know, and it was done better after. What kind of criticism is that? What it did in the moment was amazing. You know, I don't care what... I don't care what fucking boomer shooter you're saying is better. I don't care what fucking walking simulator shooter you're saying is better. What Half-Life 2 did, it doesn't, 2004, 2024, what Half-Life 2 did was create a great story and great gameplay meshed together to make a great game. It had... Well, actually, I think you brought this up earlier. It had a good flow. This had a good flow. Like Jak 2, it had a good flow. You know? Like, you know, when you could just, like, sit there in silence and pay attention to what and you know what they're going to say. This is kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, where it's like, I know a lot of lines from, like, Back to the Future or something, but, like, I can watch that movie again and catch something that I hadn't caught before. It's the same thing with this, you know? Or even if you catch it, like, this thing before, maybe you forgot about it. Or maybe you remember catching this thing before, but now you see this thing in a new perspective. This is this argument you're making is dumb. Like, you're saying Half-Life 2 is a bad game because it's been done before. How? When did Half-Life, like, when did Half-Life 2, when was it? Okay, if it was done before, what Half-Life 2 did was amazing on its own. Again, I don't care what they did. This is amazing. You know, I don't care what fucking GameSpy article you read where it said Half-Life 2 was the great. Okay, like, take that with a grain of salt. It's just some asshole's opinion. You know, if you don't agree with it, then, like, I don't know, shove it up your ass. Like, it's simple as.
After the release of Half-Life.
Simple ass.
Singling Half-Life out specifically as the model, as the only way shooters should be, is very much indicative of a generation of gamers. Accompanying that view...
Yeah, okay, I didn't think like this, though. I was like, yeah, Half-Life 2 is great, but I still like Quake 2 more. You know? Like, you could just... Other people, yeah... You know, some say this is the greatest FPS game, and then I would go, yeah, well, I think you're full of fucking horseshit, you know? And then on and on it goes on and on, you know? It just whatever. Like, some people say Wolfenstein 3D is the best first-person shooter, you know? And I don't know, like, yeah, like. Oh, these fucking millennials. It's like, calm the fuck down, dude. You sound like a fucking dork.
Is often the idea that Halo ruined shooters, and I've already talked about this. It dumbed them down by making them work for consoles. Not to pit them against each other, I've already done that, but it...
Wait, what now?
Work for consoles.
Yeah, when Halo games were coming out, like when the initial run of Halo games were coming out, you know, I wasn't really. I liked I was really interested in the story, but I couldn't really care less about the games themselves. I never. And then I played the first one on the PC. And I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. So, you know, I love Half-Life 2, and I love Halo. Again, it was just people saying this is better, no, this is better. It's like, guys, why can't you like both equally? You know, like, I don't know.
Not to pit them against each other, I've already done that, but it really
Good for you.
It isn't that deep. Both Halo 2 and Half-Life 2 were technologically complex for their time. I mean, they both used the Havoc engine for physics. Both of them had sophisticated enemy design with a number of different enemy types with varied behavior depending on so many different environmental factors. Both of them had varied encounters, level design, and visuals. They both had large and varied weapon arsenals. They were both sophisticated in terms of what mattered, the gameplay. It's only the surface level distinctions that people use to say that Halo was unsophisticated, regenerating health, 2-weapon limit.
Yeah, I bet this guy like fucking mauls about, I'm sick of these fucking PC gamer nerds saying Halo isn't as good as Half-Life 2. I don't know, go screw yourself, you fucking asshole. How about that? How about like, hey, I was gonna say they're both equally good in different ways, but since you're being a fucking big fat baby about it, why don't you go fuck yourself?
It was made for console babies. I think it definitely was a platform thing. Now that Halo is on PC, nobody seems to care anymore. That superiority...
No. Here's the thing. Half-Life 2, I still like that game. Halo 2, I've never played that game. I don't know. I think I like the colors in Halo 2 more. Just I don't think the game looks all that interesting to me. You know, on a surface level, but I'm eventually I'd like to play it. It does look interesting. I do want to play it though. It does look interesting enough for me to want to play it eventually. It's just like, yeah, Halo 2, that's cool, I guess. I don't know. I have a computer. I'll play Half-Life 2. Honestly, like when both these games came out, I didn't play either of them. What was I playing in 2004? Jak 2? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something here that this guy is saying. I'm just like I'm getting annoyed. This is
complex also extended to Valve as a company. They released a lot of good games, but there was a pervasive idea that they could do no wrong at all. And honestly, this idea persists. Except they popularized loop.
No, I didn't like a lot. Not a lot. I didn't like some things about Valve games. You know, but it was just kind of like, yeah, I don't really like this part of the game. Oh well.
Boxes in PC gaming. They facilitated a gambling economy surrounding their games. Artifact. They're generally not as scummy as other companies, but
Was it that all that stuff? I don't like really care about any of that. It's like, oh my god, they did gambling. It's like, if you're gambling in a fucking game, you're a fucking moron.
they've made a ton of.
I'm sorry. There were like 1, 2, 3 corporate talk listing points here. What was it?
And honestly, this idea persists. Except they popularized loot boxes in PC games.
Why the fuck? Why the fuck would you get loot boxes? Just don't.
Gaming. They facilitated.
Like, being a fun. Why the fuck would you do any of this? It's all gambling. It's all. Oh my god.
A gambling economy surrounding their games.
Don't.
Artifact. They're
I don't even know what that is. I don't give a shit.
generally not as scummy as other companies, but they've made a ton of anti-consumer decisions over the years. I think one of the biggest effects of Half-Life criticisms is on the topic of first-person platforming. It was held as a maxim that first-person platforming doesn't work. There's one example that it doesn't, and many showing that it certainly can. It's not that first-person platforming doesn't work, it's that Half-Life's platforming was bad. Mirror's Edge showed that a first-person platforming game can work, but barely anyone makes it.
Yeah, the platforming wasn't like the greatest, but it was like the engine that they were using that was like, whoa, this is awesome, you know? It's they were really trying to go for like this scope here with the platforming itself. I don't know, I guess it was okay. Alright, like, oh, the platforming was bad. It's like, alright, that's your opinion and it's garbage. I thought the platforming was good. What now, bitch? Starting to sound like the Forspoken character. Whatever the fuck her name was. I'm sorry, I'm trying to collect my thoughts here. Why was it bad? Why can't you just like, alright, I made the jump. Autosave. Not autosave, quick save. Oh shit, I fucked that jump up. Quick load. You know? That's what the platforming was there with the assumption that you know, just quick save, you know, and before you make this next jump. And it's not even there's not even that much there's not even that much platforming. Oh, it's bad. And it's like, yeah, there's like a handful of platforms you jump on that you know, a handful of those really long jumps. It's not really a platforming game though. That's like saying Mario's aim with the fire flower in Super Mario Bros. Is bad. It's like, it wasn't meant to be like a, you know, targeting. It was like, you know, you just shoot the fucking fireballs at the fucking things that are coming at you. Like, that's the whole point of it. Like, it does its job fine. Whatever.
These. Until indies came along decades later.
Okay, whatever. I never played this game. Look, maybe the platforming is great, but that game was made for that kind of platforming. I mean, that game, they made that game with that platforming in mind, and it was like, whoa, just fucking doing all these moves. And whereas Half-Life, it was like some of these platforms were like, I don't know, jump from here to here. Good luck. Well, we'll put this thing to kind of like, you know, so you don't go over the edge, you know. Does its job fine. It's not bad. You're stupid. Fuck you.
and showed that you're still allowed to make them. But for a while, devs were afraid to include platforming in their shooter games in any significant capacity. And you see some examples, like there's a secret mission that was in Destiny 2 called 0 Hour. Now, most Destiny content is slop, like I said, but a fraction of it is actually really cool and well...
Is what? What did he say? I didn't hear what he said. He says what?
Destiny content is slop, like I said, but a fraction of it is actually...
Oh, slop. Okay, yeah. Cool zoomer word.
Really cool and well designed, and this is one of the cool examples. It was cool because it had both first-person platforming and a strict time limit, and that made it so fun and intense. But you can barely make things like this
I don't know, like, why? Learn the code. Go make a game like this. You know? Put some alpha clips up on YouTube. Show it off. You know? Get some attention to it. Even if it gets no attention, keep developing it. Learn to code more. But you see what I'm saying? Like, you're looking at this like from a consumerist perspective. It's like, I don't like the way they do. I don't like the way they don't include enough of this. It's like, I don't know. At some point, the criticism is like, oh, okay, you know, I can you know, see this, that, the other thing. You know, you're allowed to make your criticism. You're allowed to make your criticism. You're allowed to make your criticism. But at some point, you're just like, dude, quit your fucking, like, unless you're, like, trying to be funny or engaging or witty or, I don't know, something that I'm not being right now, obviously. But, I don't know, this just sounds like a bunch of fucking worthless yapping. Was this video made so that you can hawk whatever that VPN was, you know? It's such a soulless fucking video. Yeah, play the this isn't lo-fi beats. Lo-fi beats to, I don't know, make shitty video essays too. Lo-fi beats to make a... You can tell I'm getting bored with this video, and I'm not even close.
because reviewers don't like actual challenge. Also, they removed this mission from the game.
Who? Oh my God! Who the hell cares what the fucking reviewers think? Then, like, go play a game, like an indie game where I'm sorry, I'm losing my words here. I'm losing my mind. I feel my mind actively deteriorating. This past like 10 minutes or something like that. I think that piss break that I took, made my mind turn to mush, like completely. It's just the soup that's metaphorically pouring out of my ears right now. I can't. I'm sorry. What did he say? I don't know what this.
Because reviewers don't like actual challenge.
Oh no. Well then, don't play that game. Oh, you know, it's like the criticism I was hearing about Forspoken. It was like, oh, this game sucks, and then I, you know, initially I was like, oh yeah, this game looks like shit. Like a lot of things where I'm like, you know, and then I actually like, okay, but I'll actually try it. You know, and then I was playing. I was like, it's okay, at first. And then I've gotten to a point where I'm like, this game is kind of shit. It's okay. It has some okay parts, but it's, you know, the best parts so far have been like coin collecting. Yeah, you know, and by the way, I didn't buy Forspoken. By the way, I got it for free. Sorry, I'm messing around with this thing again. This speaker. It's like I don't want to fidget with the floppy disk because I don't want to accidentally like fuck it up or something. Yeah, like look, if they're not making the game that you want, then don't play it. You know, simple as. I guess I'm not coming from this guy's perspective because I've always been really cheap with quite a few games throughout my history of playing video games. I'm just like, I don't know. I could get this for cheaper, you know. I get this for cheaper. I get this for cheaper. And then when I finally get a game for like $5 and I play it and I'm like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. You know, but I bet if I got it, well, I don't know. Actually, maybe if I got like Half-Life 2 at full price, I probably would have loved it then as well. I mean, that game's awesome.
Also, they removed this mission from the game anyway. Now it's just sitting there in the vault with all of P. Diddy's unreleased music.
Oh my god.
Another common...
Come on, shut up. That's... Oh, yeah, P. Diddy. It's a cool joke. Like, okay, oh, what's wrong with making fun of P. Diddy? He's you know what? And it's like, it's because... Fucking lame joke.
criticism you'd hear in the millennial generation was that games were
The fucking millennials! God, shut up, dude. Like,
too linear and scripted. I miss when games were just moving around an abstract environment picking up keys. Why do they have stories and events happening? Linear and criticism you'd hear in the P. Diddy's unreleased music. Another common criticism you'd hear in the millennial generation was that games were too linear and scripted. I miss when games were just moving around an abstract environment picking up keys. Why do they have stories and events happening? There were some freeform games like Thief and Deus Ex where you could basically approach each scenario in the game any way you wanted. And you know, like some of the others, this criticism isn't entirely without merit. Like, there were some military shooters that would completely railroad you around like 2010. Giving you absolutely no options. But it became a cliche. And here's the thing, many of the most beloved games are also extremely scripted and linear. Half-Life? Max Payne?
I don't know. Does it matter? I'm sorry. I'm like losing my I know I keep saying this. I feel like I'm getting dementia watching this video. What I had a reboot. I don't know. The difference was those games were interesting. I'm starting to like. I'm sorry if my commentary is starting to like get dull here. This video is breaking my brain. I don't know, man. Oh, I miss. You know, that's pretty valid. You know, oh, it became a cliche about something that people didn't like. Hey, it's not a cliche if it's true. Oh, but it's passé now. Well, like we've learned from this guy thus far is that he only likes what not likes, but his formation of God, I'm like losing. I'm actually seriously trying. I'm actually trying here. His taste in games is formed on what reviewers say. Like when I back then, I was like, yeah, like IGN and GameSpot, right? I think GameSpot and all of them, they existed, but like in GameFAQs, I don't like really give a shit what they had to say. Like, who cares? So what? You know, oh, it's so cliche to complain about these new shooters, you know, when the Half-Life was just like it. It was just nothing like it. It was, Half-Life was interesting and Call of Duty was boring. Alright? Why can't you comprehend that? Dork.
I think it was about player expectations. If you see a place that looks like you should be able to go there, but you can't, That feels bad for the player. It's also about games not letting the player fail, not letting them fuck up and have to redo sections. The critique wasn't really focused enough, and now every dev wants to do some open world slop, or semi-open world slop. Both of these ideas can be very good and work in a certain context, but you really have to build it as an open world game from the ground up. And for a lot of these games that tried it, it was really more of a flop, because they were trying to mesh together conflicting styles. Like Shadow Warrior 2. It added replayable open world light missions with a hub world and a Borderlands light weapon system, and it just ruined the experience. It was way better off as a linear level based shooter. And I'm glad modern shooters like Doom Eternal really lean into the linear formula, because that's often the best.
Alright, I'm gonna give you a little bit of thing. I don't know. I thought the new Doom games. I've only played the first new Shadow Warrior game. It was all right. It was fun. I didn't get far because the computer I had at the time sucked cock. It wasn't up to spec for a game like Shadow Warrior, and I haven't gotten around to playing it again. Original Shadow Warrior is awesome. Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, and I think there's a new Doom, whatever the fuck it's called, coming out. I played Doom 2016. I thought it was fucking balls. I thought it was boring. Just go around and shoot a thing. There's a reason. I just it had fun moments, but like you know, the kind of game it was, it made you depend too much on like the chop his head off to get like 15 health, and then you get hit by something and it's 25 health, and I get, you know, it's like I'm not bad at first person shooters, but like this game is just it's so sluggish, and then it's just like I can't, like, you know, whereas in like the original Doom games, it's like you get fucked up, okay? You either hold your own or you don't. This is just kind of like I'm slowly losing way too much health from doing this mechanic that at some point they have to I have to keep doing over and over again in order to play the game. In order to play the game right, I guess this is how I'm supposed to play the game. This is fucking boring. Look, maybe I'd like to try it again eventually, but like I didn't really jive with it all that much. So he was going on something about linear.
Now every dev wants to do some open world slop, or semi-open world slop. Both of these ideas can be very good and work in a certain context, but you really have to build it as an open world.
There's also first-person shooters that don't do open world slop. I don't know. Maybe he's just like, you know, the kids these days, games these days, and it's like, look, I don't really like. Again, I'm not really like one of these guys like this guy where it's like I gotta play what's hot. I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'll wait for it to. For the most part, I'm just like, yeah, I'll wait for it to go on sale like super cheap. Or eventually, if it's really old, I'll just like pirate it somewhere. I don't know.
Game from the ground up. And for a lot of these games that tried it, it was really more of a flop, because they were trying to mesh together conflicting styles. Like Shadow Warrior 2. It added replayable open world light missions with a hub world and a Borderlands light weapon system, and it just ruined the experience. It was way better off as a linear level based shooter. And I'm glad modern shooters like Doom Eternal really lean into the
I thought Shadow Warrior was pretty fun. Why was it a flop? Because it wasn't Halo? Whatever.
Linear formula, because that's often the best for well-crafted multiplayer experiences. Another common thread: cover shooters bad. Heard in the context of first-person shooters, but also more so with third-person shooters, especially with Gears of War. Like the other critiques, there was a phenomenon that gave rise to this critique. It was a bit saturated, but it was never really that bad. Like, you were never really
cover shooters. No, I mean I could some of this stuff can get like, come on, I wanna get out and shoot eventually. No, it's bad. Sometimes. And sometimes it's not. I don't know, maybe he, like, this whole video, this guy's just coming off like people who make these criticisms, they don't, they're just a bunch of soy jacks, and I beat them in Reddit arguments every single time. Like, dude, whatever. I don't care. Like, this shit, sometimes it worked and sometimes it was boring and sometimes it sucked. It's all just a gamble.
Forced to play them. There was never a point where third-person chest-high wall cover shooters were completely unavoidable. And there were many good games in the genre. Overall, I just feel this trend was mostly avoidable, with a few standout shockers like Kane and Lynch. But here's the thing, every shooter has cover. Just taking aim at the idea of cover altogether, just broadly writing it off, saying a game forces...
Well, no, it was deliberate cover. It wasn't like in Doom where it's like, oh, I guess I'll cover from this around this corner. I'm using the environment to my advantage, whereas this game is like, all right, now you got to take cover over here. It's like, why? Don't tell me what to do. I want to like do it myself. I want, like, if I need to take cover over here, I'll do it. Like, no, but like they're gonna be shooting you right here, and you gotta take cover right here. It's like, yeah, no, yeah. Again, another. What's this guy's name? Whatever his name is. Another swollen nerd, right? I don't remember this fucking guy's name. Another swollen nerd L. Whatever his name is, I don't remember.
You to take cover is a bad thing. Every shooter is built around cover to some degree. It is a basic element of shooters, and emphasizing it more in some games has produced some of the most unique and interesting gameplay interactions with...
Honestly, this all sounds like cope. This all sounds like cope for the fact that you have nostalgia for these games, okay? That's just... And you know what? I'm guilty of that too. I do the exact same thing for games that I have nostalgia for.
We've seen, like...
So, but like, why do you gotta make like a gay-ass video essay that's like says nothing, and all it is just a 26-minute video vehicle for selling Manscaped, whatever that sponsorship was in the beginning.
Tactical shooters as an entire genre. They're basically cover-based shooters, and with the chest-high walls dotted around the map in...
Yeah, they were gay! The end!
Third-person shooters, there are a lot of similar game contrivances that you'll notice when you pay attention. To be fair, this specific one is more noticeable. Isn't it great that there aren't as many games like this now? They haven't disappeared. I mean, every third-person game still has the obligatory, leaning against the wall mechanic, but it's basically useless in many of them now. They just include it because they have to. I think the gameplay in these cover-based third-person shooters is orders of magnitude better than the generic Grand Theft Auto style. It has, actual combat with actual enemies that have actual strategy, rather than just...
Why? What's the difference between shooting aliens and shooting hood rats? Both people take cover.
Go here, point at guys, click to shoot them, and that's it. Another thing that these third-person, chest-high
Oh my god, why isn't this video over with yet? Jesus Christ.
military-style shooters had was so-called tacked-on multiplayer. It wasn't just those that had this feature either. It would often happen in first-person shooters as well, and even some like platformer games. This is basically where developers would create a largely single-player game, but then also include a multiplayer side mode as well, which was clearly intended to be secondary in the experience. There are some bad...
No, it was intended to make that fucking ridiculous Xbox Live service price tag worth more. I never had Xbox Live, by the way. Never did. My dad told me, we have the internet, why do I need to pay a service? Why do I need to pay another fee? And so I never got it. And you know what? I think I'm better off as a result. If I had Xbox Live, I wouldn't have ended up like this guy, and I don't think I want that.
bad examples like Bioshock 2.
Making shitty video essays on YouTube. Jesus Christ.
It was just kind of unnecessary there. But also, basically every good multiplayer game started out as tacked on multiplayer. Call of Duty, Halo, Rainbow Six, at least the classics. Maybe newer games just aren't like that anymore. Seems there's a lot more multiplayer only games now that people are playing. But in a lot of those classics, they were basically...
Well, I don't know, these games... I think the argument is that... Alright, I'm feeling a little better. I had an anti-brain blast for a second, for like a little while there, but I think I'm better. I think some of the argument, a lot of the argument, I think a big argument people were making about this kind of thing was that it wasn't, you know, these games are like, okay, we got like a big budget now, and so you give us this multiplayer, that's it, you know? You guys had a huge budget, where did it all go? You know, just, you know, if you're going to make a fleshed out single player, you might as well make a fleshed out multiplayer as well. There you go. There's the argument. Why are you going to give us a fleshed out single player but a half-assed multiplayer? You know? It's like, I don't know, Duke Nukem 3D was like a fleshed out single player and a fleshed out multiplayer. But then again, that game didn't have the, like, it wasn't like the biggest budget ever. It was like, this is what we could come up with. And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. The game's awesome. Single player's awesome, multiplayer's awesome. But this is kind of like, well, the expectations are higher now because you have much larger budgets to work with, you know. So I think we're expecting more. I think looking back on it, it's like, oh well, like this guy's doing, he's just kind of like, oh well, why was this seen as bad, you know? And I think it was like, you know, they did everything they could, and it was like, well, you know, it was also like this is a AAA budgeted title, and we want a AAA budgeted game with AAA budgeted features. What, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's, excuse me.
Modes that were added at the last minute, using significantly fewer development resources than the campaign. Now, I disagree with this tacked on multiplayer critiques because these multiplayer modes felt the opposite of cynical. They very often felt to me like something the developers pushed to add into their game out of love, because they wanted to provide the best value to the customer. They very often felt to me like something the developers pushed to add into their game. I disagree with this tacked on multiplayer critiques because these multiplayer modes felt the opposite of cynical. They very often felt to me like something the developers pushed to add into their game out of love, because they wanted to provide the best value to the customer. Not to mention, not every part of a game dev team is firing on all cylinders at.
Okay, I know he's gonna say, like, well, if you're not gonna do that, then forget, like, all or nothing. You go all or you go nothing. And if it does have problems, well, that's just the way it goes.
All times. The design needs to be done before the art. They can't be done synchronously. So if the devs have
This just sounds like, again, this just sounds like cope for, like, well, you know, they didn't have all the resources. It's like, well, they had all the resources to make, again, they didn't spread their resources evenly. You know? Again, this just sounds like cope.
extra unutilized time, why not try to add something for the fans? Why not create multiplayer maps that reuse campaign assets?
For the fans, it's a AAA title. At this point, they're making it for the money. You know, this isn't like the 90s where it was like Doom was made by a bunch of guys in an office, you know, and they were like, "Oh, this looks cool. Yeah, add this." And then they were just in sync with each other. You know, ebb and flow, ebb and flow, ebb and flow, and they're like, "Let's make the single player multiplayer, but this, that, you know, listen to this, that," and then bing, bang, boom, and then they're like, "Whoa, you had this fucking beautiful game that millions of people still play today." But then when you do something like this, it's like, well, it cheapens the game. You know, well, why don't people give the same love to a game like Bad Company 2? Because it was made cynically. Because it was made, it was like, alright, single player looks good. well, ships tomorrow, but we didn't finish the shit. And you know, it's not the complete fault of the developers, or it's not it's not even the complete fault of the what do you call it, of the marketers, but like it's just something that always happened because it was a certain this era of games you keep showing was a certain era where profits were starting to become more important than the actual. That was nothing. Whatever. Maybe somebody will finish my thought in the comments. I lost my train of thought.
Ubisoft used to add cool multiplayer modes like Spies vs. Mercs or the Assassin's Creed multiplayer. They were an interesting and fun experience, and who cares if it dies out eventually? Around launch, you get to have a new and interesting experience, and the single player game is still there to play if you buy the game a lot later. And if you really want to try...
okay, but like the thing is that cheapens the game when a part of it dies. It just does. It does. And sometimes it's not the fault of just like any one person. It's just, but it's still a fact of the matter that it cheapens part of the game. They half-assed a part of the game. They got half-assed results, and then it came to a half-assed conclusion. It's just the way it goes sometimes.
Try out the multiplayer, you can get some of your friends together to try and run a lobby. And I'm sad this is kind of gone for the most part. I think about how fun Doom 2016 multiplayer was, but they never tried to expand on it. They just cut it in Eternal and had battle mode instead. I also...
God, I didn't even read that. What? Doom won't have... I don't know. So what? It's probably just gonna be like the Doom 2016 multiplayer. Who gives a shit?
Battle mode instead. I also can't go without mentioning the obsession reviewers have basically always had with Sonic. Every single video reviewer from a certain era had to mention Sonic 06 in some capacity. It was so overplayed. There was always...
Because it was a bad game. Because it was so bad, it was good. Oh my god, I'm so sick of people talking about Sonic 06. And it was always funny because it was funny to rip on it because it was such a fucking shitty ass game.
Always some gag about how it was pure evil or something, basically just exaggerating it to the level of worst game ever. There are obviously worse games. Some people went as far as to say Sonic...
No, because it was a Sonic game. And I don't know, it's just some Sonic is a fun franchise to tear apart. I'm sure you're the life of parties.
Was never good. I'm not even a Sonic fan, but obviously there have been good Sonic...
What?
There are obviously worse games. Some people went as far as to say Sonic was never good. I'm not...
Sonic was never good. I have fun playing like a Sonic game in like an emulator every once in a while, but like I understand that Sonic games aren't I don't think that I mean, okay, maybe the Genesis games were fine. I think Sonic's transition into 3D started to muddy the waters. I don't, you know, it also it's fun to pick apart because it's liked by, you know, there are certain kinds of people who are obsessed with Sonic who, and that's part of the fun is like I'm not just making fun of Sonic, I'm making fun of all the obsessed nerds who love Sonic. the ones who like have no lack of who have absolutely no self-awareness, like the guy who made this video. They have absolutely no self-awareness, and they it's just like wait, hang on. There you go. There's another fart. Clear my mind. It's just fun. I don't know. It's just fun to make fun of like that kind of stuff. It still is. It's still fun to make fun of Sonic games because they're shitty, and Sonic is shitty, and Sonic sucks dick. And as somebody who finds a couple of Sonic games enjoyable occasionally, right? I don't hate Sonic. I have a complicated history with Sonic. I think a lot of people do, because I think Sonic's kind of become like the go-to game franchise for people with special mind abilities. Okay, let's just call them that.
Worst game ever. There are obviously worse games.
Yes. But that's a shitty cope. This game still sucks.
Some people went as far as to say Sonic was never good.
Again, yes.
I'm not even a Sonic fan, but obviously there have been good Sonic games.
No, I mean, yeah, they're probably good Sonic games, but, for the laughs, Sonic was never good.
There have also been good 3D Sonic games. Sure, they made plenty of stinkers, but Sonic hate feels...
Again, good. Is this guy... YouTube. Hey, YouTube, but I've already called this guy, like, the F word a handful of times, so whatever.
Very much like something of a certain generation. Now, I want to do a rapid-fire round.
Oh, no. Could it be the Millennials? God, this guy's such a I can't stress, this guy's such a fucking dork.
Some other cliches. One is
this video sucks. I watched a video from this guy before, and I enjoyed it, and I'm watching this, I'm like, God, talking about this shit is not your forte, dude.
The Dude Bro Shooter. I went back and looked, and depending on how broad you... I want to do a rapid fire round. Point out some other cliches. One is the Dude Bro Shooter. I went back and looked, and depending on how broad you set your net, it was never really that much of a thing. There weren't that many games around, and many of the archetypical Dude Bro games were, well, good. It feels like the precursor to Gamergate and the toxic masculinity discourse more than anything. To some, the Dude Bro games were basically just any game that featured a bald, white male character.
Okay, just because it has hyper-masculinity in it doesn't mean it's good, okay? Doom is a hyper-masculine game. Doom is a hyper-masculine game, and it's a good game. Gears of War is a hyper-masculine game, and it's okay. Call of Duty is a hyper-masculine game. Yeah, let's just leave it at that.
As the protagonist, and that was enough to get it labeled Dude Bro, or just having anything vaguely gritty. Another cliche, Crysis is a tech demo. Crysis 1 was actually quite...
Look, like I hear the term Dude Bro now, and I'm like, oh God, give me a, I know the kind of people who are like, oh, these, Dude Bros, these, and now it's like Tech Bro, Crypto Bro, you know the kinds of people that say that ridiculous bullshit. But I'm not trying to sound like a devil's advocate here, right? But yeah, I'm gonna sound like a devil's advocate. That shit's obnoxious, but this shit is obnoxious too. Okay, not everything that's hyper masculine. Just because it's hyper masculine, that doesn't make it good. Just because it's hyper masculine, that doesn't make it bad. You have to look at it for what the game is. So if some people complain about hyper masculine, toxic masculinity or whatever, that's I write that off immediately as just like, oh, whatever, what kind of person this is, whatever. But you're a special case. You're like, I'm sick of this, fucking labeling my cool game, my fun games as dude bro shit, and it's like, yeah, well, like not every criticism lobbied against your games is not valid. Okay, I'm not saying all they're like most of them are retarded, but you know, like it just like I thought the hyper masculine shit. I thought it was kind of like it was like when I saw that kind of shit. When I saw like Gears of War, I'm like, yeah, this game's all right, but like it's kind of the aura. It kind of gave like this douchebag. Like maybe the game was like I can't really remember. I've only ever played Gears of War as like tech demos, but it was fun when I played it, you know, and the plot seemed really interesting, but. And that's like positives, but the negative was that it still kind of came off as kind of like, you know, kind of like it's kind of douchebaggish. Okay, it was a little bit douchebaggish. All right, it was a little like douchebag Dan, you know. Oh man, this game's awesome, shooting shit, and it felt completely, not completely, but it felt pretty. Like that aspect at least felt kind of inauthentic when you don't need to display hyper masculinity to be hyper masculine. Okay. Again, I'm going back to Doom because I've been playing a lot of Doom recently because I was working on an old computer recently. Doom like a Doom guy, he's trapped on a base on a foreign planet, crawling with demons, and no wonder the motherfucker is like looking around constantly. Yeah, like is sweating bullets. Like he's hello me, meet the real me. Like he's like 2 seconds away from like shitting his pants, but he knows he needs to nut up and shut up and fight the demons, you know? Otherwise he's fucking toast. Like that's some fucking true masculinity right there. It's just like, again, like Gears of War just kind of came off like it's a different vibe. It gave me the wrong vibe. That's it. It just gave me the wrong vibe. Maybe it's not, but it just gives me the wrong vibe. The end.
Fun? It had the same freeform gameplay style of Far Cry. It had a variety of vehicles, environments, etc. It felt like it was a fun sandbox game, and it just happened to be pretty on top of that. So I just think calling it a tech demo was just a silly cliche. What about cell shading hides bad graphics? And this is...
I think a lot of criticism for Crysis was that it was too... the specs were too high for a lot of people's computers, and that was kind of like... And I mean, look back on it now, and it's like, oh, okay, now I can play it, but then I'm just like... you know, it looks okay. I don't... Again, I'm actually almost to the end of this video, but I'm not really seeing, like, what the problem was with a lot of these criticisms, or any of these criticisms. I'm just like, yeah... You can make an argument for every single one of these criticisms. This entire video was made to sell Spartan condoms, whatever it was. I don't remember.
Such a millennial coded position, because nowadays the consensus is, rightly, that art direction trumps graphical fidelity and realism any day of the week. And cell shading works if that's what the game is going for. I think this cliche comes, again, from centering the importance of Nintendo and Zelda in the gaming landscape, because so much of it seems to extend from the backlash which Wind Waker received. And
Wind Waker was, okay. Yeah, but I don't think... No, it's just because some people just thought cell shading looked ugly, no matter what the setting was. It wasn't because of, you know, the Nintendo industrial complex, or whatever the fuck you called it, and oh, the backlash against Wind... No, it was because some people just thought cell shading was ugly. That's just their opinion. I'm sorry, I have to hear that again. What was the
realism any day of the week. And cell shading
Well, so the argument was that cell shading was ugly, and he's like, no, because that's the art style that they were going for. Well, the art style is fucking ugly, and you should feel bad. It's the same thing I hear with Picasso. It's like, Picasso's art is ugly. No, it's not, because that's what he was going for. It's like, I don't care. It's still fucking ugly and disgusting to look at. And Picasso himself was a piece of shit, and all his art should be burned.
works if that's what the game is going for. I think this cliche comes, again, from centering the importance of Nintendo and
The Nintendo industrial... No, it's because I think the game looks fucking ugly. It has nothing to do with Nintendo or the new Zelda game or whatever. Yeah, and Zelda Wind Waker was an okay game. Alright, it was okay. It was alright. But that has nothing to do with my opinion that the Battlefield games just look fucking disgusting. They look like I want to destroy every single copy personally.
Zelda in the gaming landscape, because so much of it seems to extend from the backlash which Wind Waker received. And I don't even remember hearing about this one back in the day, but I've been told by a few people now that apparently some people thought Fear had weak level design. When I was told about this,
That's funny. Okay, well, again, that's just their opinion. Who cares? Tell that person to start a shotgun.
I was a bit baffled. I mean, it had great AI, and the objective of level design in this type of game should ultimately be to make the best use of that great AI, to give it interesting interactions. Because Lord knows there's some games that do not make good use of their AI. And Fear level design...
Oh no. How is Half-Life 2's AI bad? You're just like, it was bad because it was bad. Hey, you know what? Why don't you start a shotgun too? And then I can start a shotgun. See, we can all start a shotgun. Together.
does make good use of its AI. It gives them interesting interactions, cool things happen. I will agree.
I'm sure it does. You know, but you're just like, it's bad because it's bad, and it's good because it's good. Wow. Great criticism. You really trumped those millennials.
That it could be more varied. But obviously they had budget constraints. The level and encounter design and, yes, scripting was excellent for the most part. So what are some of the examples that you remember best? Reviewer cliches, how reviewers affected games? Let me know in the comments. Support me on Patreon, like, subscribe, thanks for watching, goodbye.
We gotta have more soy jacks to make it apparent that I'm cool with the soy jack party or whatever. Like, I'm cool, guys. Look at, he's a soy jack. Isn't that cool? Oh no, you could see the stuff that I've been looking at. Okay. Well, that reaction video was way too long. And the video I watched sucked dick. Sucked my big fat beautiful hog. And yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna go like lie down forever. Okay. Bye.